Mars, the planet that can bring new directions, change of direction, momentum, willpower, conflict, challenge, is moving into the sign of Cancer on March the 25th, 2023. Will stay there all the way through until May the 20th, after 7 long and interesting months in the sign of Gemini. So as we go forward to look at how this is going to play out in your life, we're going to look for the way that Mars here can be like a kind of a champion warrior hero for causes that are Cancerian, for noble causes, to like fierce mother bear protect something in your life. But it also can look like conflict that can become passive aggressive, that can become overly emotionally volatile. And yet at the same time, Mars still can bring positive change as he moves through that sign in your natal chart. What do I mean? You have 12 houses. One of them in your 12th house sky is Cancer. That is where this sign is. That is where the change will happen. We're going to talk about that for the world as well as your own sign as we go ahead in this video today. Now, if you're new to my channel, I'm Lori Lothian. I'm a Hellenistic astrologer. I use whole sign houses. I love asteroids. And we're looking at the sky predictively today. That said, I always encourage you to listen for your rising sign first, your sun and moon secondarily. Why? Because when you were born in that 2 to 2.5 hour window, your rising sign rising on the eastern horizon in the tropical western zodiac, is your most intimate piece of the sky. Think about it. Everybody born in 30 days of you has the same sun sign. Everybody born in the 2.5 days of you within the same 2.5 days has the same moon sign. Mum sign, moon sign. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about this. Mars is moving into the sign of Cancer. That belongs to the moon. The moon is nurturing, loving, tender, kind, empathic, emotional, sensitive, feminine, female, mama energy. It can often represent our home, our mother figures, our emotional set point. In the ancient astrology, it can also represent fate and your body. Mars moving into the temple of the moon is not comfortable. It's called Mars in the sign of his fall. Why? Because Mars doesn't like being in this emotionally watery place. This is a warrior. He causes people to, swords, die. Mothers protect and don't want anyone to die. Really? There's a contradictory energy, right? Mars is exalted in Capricorn, which is across from the sign of Cancer. Think about why he would be exalted in Capricorn. Well, it's like, I don't know, it's a cold, dark winter season in the northern hemisphere, and Mars is like going to like hard scrabble it through. Back in the time when we had in Canada, the truckers convoy, Mars was doing 6 weeks that December in Capricorn. And what are truckers? They're Martian energy. They're drivers, they're everyday folk, they're protesting. Because Mars can rule protests, right? Or rebellion as well. He can get involved with uprisings as well as wars. So when he's in Cancer, things don't look so good when it comes to his more noble aspects of being the warrior in maybe his home sign of Scorpio, his home sign of Aries, or his exaltation place of Capricorn. He's in trouble here. He's in trouble. However, he's swimming, So what can he do when he's swimming in the Cancer waters to help us out? If you need to protect someone, something, if you have a fierce call to be an advocate, a champion for something that you feel you need to, like a mama bear, protect, then that will be exactly the vibe. Okay. It's funny. On March 25th, he's moving into the sign of Cancer, but he's not doing a whole lot other than in the very early part of his ingress, he's forming a lovely flow to that new Saturn in Pisces. So he's like literally doing hardly anything in terms of planetary intersections during his 6 weeks in Cancer. When he flows to Saturn, we'll talk about it for your sign, this is a get shit done transit. So that's like all the way from March the 25th to basically, I think I wrote it down, but until about April the 2nd, you can like totally be determined and driven to get a lot done. This is a watery Piscean, a newly hatched Saturn, the Lord of discipline, and Mars in his detriment, but still Mars working with Saturn to get things that are Pisces and Cancerian in your chart complete, done, driven, willpower, and aiming for something. But then other than that, as the 6 weeks go by, guys, he's only doing 2 things that I think are relatively important, because I'm not going to pay attention to little transits like the moon. What I think is the most important transits that he does is he's going to come into a trine to Neptune way down the line. We'll do a whole video on that mid-May. Mars trine Neptune after squaring Neptune so darn much in the last few months from Gemini. But also Mars will come into a relationship with Uranus, the god of the unexpected, the sudden, the change, the electric charge on April the 30th, give or take a few days. That could be very interesting. Uranus in Taurus, Mars in Cancer. This is forming a flow, a sextile, a luck vibe in the sky. And at the same time, this is happening. The sun is in Taurus, the Vestal flame is in Taurus, Juno's in Taurus, Mercury's retrograde in Taurus. So there's a whole lot going on between that Taurus part of your sky and the planet Mars in Cancer. We're going to talk about that for the all signs. That's what I'm going to focus on today. What could it mean for the collective that Mars is moving through the sign of Cancer? Oh, I have some thoughts. In the United States natal Sibley chart, because in the United States is a Sag rising around 12 degrees in that particular version of the USA natal sky. Cancer is a place that is the 8th house, which can represent finances, banks, and stock markets. And we know there's been a banking crisis. We know that the Fed just raised interest rates by another quarter, trying to perhaps sink the smaller banks like the little lenders out there. There's conspiracy type theories that the US is actually trying to collapse the banks that deal with crypto and try to consolidate everything for a digital currency, a central bank digital currency, and pull money away and sort of catastrophize the smaller banks so that people go to Chase Manhattan or Citibank. No, is that true? I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's a conspiracy theory. I'm just saying what I heard. But what I'm going to say, Mars is not in good shape when he goes into the sign of Cancer, which is the banking system, the stock market, and all of that in the United States of America's 8th house Sibley chart stuff. And, the United States has a lot going on in the Sibley chart, that part of their sky as well. For instance, it could end up looking like, for instance, Joe Biden has his Jupiter, which represents a part of him that is the king, in Cancer at the same degree almost, I think, or close enough to the US sun, not the same degree. So what about Joe Biden? What happens when Mars goes into Cancer and is coming towards his Jupiter? Mars-Jupiter energy can be okay normally, except that this is a sign where Mars is not working so well in Cancer, right? So it could be some kind of issues going on with Joe Biden that we're all going to hear about. In fact, I didn't even pull up Joe Biden's chart. I'm just knowing where his Jupiter is. And I may take a look at his chart today if you guys want. I'll have to think, do I really want to pull up Joe or not? I think I will, because I think this may be an announcement about Joe's health or something to do with him stepping away from the candidacy to run for president or something like that over the 6 weeks that follow. But I certainly expect more banking turbulence, more stock market turbulence, more difficulties in that part of the sky in the next 6 weeks when it comes to the USA for sure. Mars is a god of war and he's underwater or swimming in Cancer. So I'm not too sure that bodes very well for war outcomes in the Ukraine or peaceful outcomes or solutions to what's going on in Ukraine. That's unfortunately probably what that means as one of the meanings. Water, Mars, war. Are we going to have war at sea? Are we going to have wars on water? Now, the only thing I can think of is Taiwan, because it's an island, and, the China thing and the United States getting involved in things like trying to create, what do you call it? Boats that circle the island, or China doing that. There's a word for that, but, the blockades with water wars, maybe places in the world. Now this happens, fighting over water resources. This happens every single 2 years that Mars spends about 6 weeks in Cancer. Okay, so it's nothing brand new. What's brand new is that Saturn is in Pisces. Therefore, there's which can only happen every 30 years, right? We'll be there for the next 3. So that means that over this year and the next time Saturn in 2 years from now goes through the sign of Cancer, he's hooking up with Saturn. When Mars goes through the sign of Cancer, he's hooking up with Saturn in a flow, a trine in Pisces. So that's a fresh take on this kind of transit. Saturn will bring stability if he can, lasting legacy, foundational change, and Mars will execute it. And so we may see fundamental changes in the banking system, fundamental lasting changes in the stock market systems, fundamental lasting changes with the way situations go with any kind of combat regarding water and near water, on water, boats on water, fighting each other, that kind of thing. I'm going to take a quick look at Joe's chart and we'll pull it up so that maybe I can see if there's anything specific to Joe Biden. So I just took a quick look at Biden's chart again to remind myself where his planets are. Basically, as a stellium, including his sun in the 12th house. And that is, not going to be impacting him. That's his, hidden house. But Mars is actually, I'm sorry, I'm kind of babbling. Mars is actually moving, yes, through his 8th house, where Jupiter sits towards Jupiter. Sometimes the 8th house can cause problems with one's health or some kind of background things going on around Joe. But I just have a feeling that Jupiter Mars energy for Joe Biden is going to somehow be about the situation regarding his candidacy over the next 6 weeks. That's what I'm going to go with that. That's my final answer. And at the same time, when it comes to Russia, Russia, the modern nation of Russia, happens to have its Jupiter also in the sign of Cancer in the 11th house, which Mars will cross over as well. It doesn't necessarily speak so well for Russia. And then Putin himself is receiving this Mars transit in a flowing from the 9th house to, well, potentially from the 9th house to his ascendant first house, Scorpio, if we have his birth time right. So this is benefiting him, but we still have a sideways vibe from this Mars. And lastly, Elon Musk, I almost forgot about this. He's got his sun sitting, and his Mercury, but his sun sitting in Cancer. And we don't have a time for Elon, but the sun will be impacted. So Mars in Cancer over his sun, which can be his purpose, his career. Something's going on, big news maybe about Elon, and that will be early on in the beginning of this transit to expect some developments with the Elon Musk story in the world. Okay, so let's get talking about how this might work for each of us. If you want to look at some famous people, by the way, with a Mars Cancer placement, Tilda Swinton, the actress, has that. And by the way, she identifies as queer or non-binary. I find that interesting. Mars, the warrior in a feminine sign. How many people who have this placement will identify as queer, non-binary, etc. But anyway, she's played roles like the Avengers Endgame and the Snowpiercer with the train, so Martian, are very masculine warrior roles, but she is a woman. Same with Zendaya, who plays the wife in the Dune series the lover in the Dune series of the guy who becomes the head of everything. And so Miley Cyrus, Keanu Reeves, Meghan Markle. No one likes Meghan Markle, it seems. Maybe she's got a problem with passive aggression or weird ways of pushing her agenda. People think she's pushing her husband around, the henpecked husband, and his wife, Meghan Markle, has Mars in Cancer. And who else did I write down? Keanu Reeves, he's of course the guy who played Neo in The Matrix. So I don't know if you can find common things with these actors and the kinds of roles they've played. Claude Van Damme is known for his, what do you call it, martial arts hero stuff, and he's got displacement of Mars in Cancer too. I don't know. Martial arts is maybe a flowing discipline, right? You're learning to move your body in a kind of Zen way to kill people. So anyway, those are just some examples. I was just trying to find some kind of theme amongst actors and roles they played when they were born with Mars in the sign of Cancer. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do all signs today. And what I really want to focus on, because there's not much to talk about that's a major proportion, what I'm really going to focus on, because I think it's kind of exciting, is around April 30th, give or take a few days on either side, when Mars will sextile Uranus. And Uranus is co-present in Taurus with a Vestal flame of devotion, with Juno, the goddess of commitment, with Mercury going retrograde, and the sun. Everyone's in Taurus together. It's like a party going on around April 30th with everybody in one place. So let's talk about what that might look like for each sign. We'll start with Aries. And just before I talk about the all signs, I was just peeking at the New York Stock Exchange, and I have a 1903 chart. There are various charts for the things like the New York Stock Exchange, but it's interesting to see that Mars will bump into Neptune in the 12th house of the New York Stock Exchange's chart. Neptune being deception, secrets, massaging the data, creating illusion, delusion. Mars may be trying to pierce the illusion, but that's going to happen pretty early on, and so that could cause some issues to happen in terms of the spin cycle of publicity or news and information going on about what's going on in the markets in the North America, especially because the New York Stock Exchange kind of will be an indicator of what goes on in all of the stock markets within North America. And also there is a Mars square that's pending. And as Mars gets closer to the end of this transit and he's moving, closer to the May 20th timeframe, he's going to come in to a connection to the Mars that exists in the U.S. Stock Exchange. And it's going to be a flow. It's going to be a sextile. So it could mean that there's going to be, Mars at the tail end of Cancer in the 12th house of the US Stock Exchange in a sextile to the money and goods house, the second house of the stock exchange, Mars in Virgo. And maybe there's going to be some kind of bailout resolution, some kind of, if it's banking industry, save the day, or some kind of turnaround later in the month of May. I'm still not really liking the way things look in terms of us not going into some kind of really darker place with recession and banking failures. And I don't know, you know what I mean? I don't want to be an alarmist, guys, but I would, if you have a 401k, I'd probably be putting things in money market versus equities. Of course, gold is way up, and that's always a sign that there's lack of confidence in the markets, and gold is breaching 2000 right now. And I know I'm not your stock advisor, nor am I your financial advisor, so don't ask me for that help. But when Mars goes into the first house of the New York Stock Exchange after May 20th, that could be some turbulence in the identity of the markets in general. Okay, so who knows? Who knows? Let's get ahead and do all signs. Some of you don't like this mundane content. I know that. People say, I just want to know all about me. So if you're new to my channel, again, if you haven't hit the like button or subscribe button, please do so. Please check out my description box below, because everything you need to know is there. My Sky Reader course is starting in mid-April. Time Your Best Life, Be Your Own Astrologer. I will have taught that twice already. This will be my third iteration. I change the course content a little bit every time, and so it gets better and better, and there's new directions and new stuff. So some of the people who've taken it once take it again, and will take it again. If you're already a former student, you can take it again, but at a discounted price. Okay, so let's talk about this story of, and that's for beginner intermediates of astrology. Let's talk about the all signs narrative. We're going to start with Aries, which is, of course, also appropriate, because Aries, you are ruled by Mars. And so what the hell this dude does in the sky is important to you, right? You need to, watch the dude in the sky, pay attention to your Lord. I'm not going to change the backdrop because it looks like Aries already, right? But I will maybe change it for every other sign. I guess I could. Yeah. So Aries, sun, moon, and rising in your I'm going quickly. This is not a long video. In your sky, this is going to be Mars moving through Cancer for 6 weeks, May 20th. March 25th to May 20th. And this Cancer zone of the sky for an Aries rising especially is your is your fourth house of real estate, property, and home. And this simply means there's likely going to be some change. Mars is a god of change with regards to where you live. You can do some construction, some renovation. You could build a home. You could tear down a home, but you could also be moving your home. And so expect that, or have conflict in the home. So be careful, because no one wants to be arguing with the people that you live with. There may be passive aggressive tension in cohabitational energies with Mars here all the way through March 25th to May the 20th. Be on top of it and be careful that that's not the case. Now, also, I like the one piece of the story the most of all. I'm going to focus on it. I like the energy of the sextile to Uranus on April 30th, give or take a few days on either side. It can be some very exciting, positive developments that have to do with commitment, partnerships, because of Juno co-present, things you wish to devote yourself to, and maybe some interesting news. And I'm saying news because Mercury is retrograde. If there's news coming through the sky, it's about your money, because this is where Mercury is, in the earnings and money house. And so around April 30th, give or take a few days, some surprising, exciting money stories and news to do with your resources, your finances, your paycheck, your earnings, and the word home and home life. I think it's positive, even if it is Mars in Cancer. Now, Cancer is protective and nurturant and fiercely defensive, like a mother bear. What are you fiercely needing to defend? I mean, that's what it feels like anyway. You could be defending your home, but you may also be receiving some exciting developments or news around earnings and money that help you do something with your home, change your home, maybe up-level your home, or even do some new kind of work from home. Okay, so it's got a vibe. It's really good. If you want to partner in business with somebody, because Juno is here with Uranus, co-present at the time of this sextile, you might find yourself finding the best new business partnership of your life, or collaborative financial partnership, and working it into some real estate deals or things you're doing in and from your home. It's almost snowing here in Vancouver on I'm recording on March the 21st. Patreon gets this first, guys. And I'm like, really? It's like ice, hail, cold, rain falling outside my window. Not complaining. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising. I got to change the backdrop for you guys. Yeah, hang on. Give me a sec. Let me figure that out again. Backdrop change. I can do this. Background changing up. We're going to do Taurus. Sorry, it takes me more time when I do it this way, but then it makes it easier when you're watching, right? So be patient with me. Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Taurus rising sign, most accurate rising sign. Mars is moving in Cancer for a lot of time, March 25th to May the 20th. And as Mars does this Cancer drive movement forward, he's going to also be activating your trips and travel, siblings, and local neighborhood house. Now, Mars could be doing a lot of things. You could be very busy, active, or even working out in your local neighborhood, or you could be hitting the gym hard from a loving Cancerian, tender love to your body perspective, like going for lap swims. But on the other hand, Mars here could be saying you're going to have some conflict with a sibling, aunt, uncle, cousin, niece, and nephew, or have some conflict with something to do with your local neighborhood environment. So watch for that, and watch that it doesn't become a passive aggressive structure of conflict. And some of us use our websites and our virtual neighborhood quite a lot, and this can be about your neighborhood virtual website, or you may be writing something, the third, and you're really driven to complete it, especially, with that trine to Saturn in the very beginning of this transit, let's say March the 25th to April 2nd, you're driven to complete a writing project of some sort, or to consolidate something with a sibling. But later on, there's an element of positive surprise or sudden developments with Uranus in the house of you and Mars in the third house. And this is going to happen, as I said, April 30th, give or take a few days. Now, you're the one engineering stuff, because Mercury here, though retrograde, is your ability to communicate message or have ideas. And you may have a sudden breakthrough idea or message that you wish to communicate that has to do with career and purpose, because the sun is there, and business deals and negotiations that involve the local neighborhood. Local third house is tiendas, stores, shops, the neighborhood, restaurants, So what's going on with you and those themes around April 30th? And you may be having a big lightning bolt strike of aha. Again, partnering with others can be very successful in that area of time, in that time frame. Technically, with Mars being the Lord of your seventh house of business partnerships and also marriage partnerships, there could be some changes in that area as well, where you're going to partner with a new business partner, some legal agreements with a new partner of business, because that legal agreements is the seventh house as well. And it may be exciting and it may be positive. So those are some possibilities as well. You may just kick some addictions as well. All of a sudden, you decide you're not going to vape anymore, because Mars will be involved in as Lord of your 12th house, will be involved in that sextile to Uranus. You wake up one day and realize smoking isn't good for you, and you just quit. So those are possibilities, maybe because you go to a local hypnotist in your neighborhood who tells you that smoking can be healed in a hypnotic session. These are just some ideas. For the most part, what I'm saying is some positive, surprising, and exciting developments coming through the third house. And so if there was conflict with a sibling, for example, aunt, uncle, cousin, or somebody in your local neighborhood, or a childhood friend, for example, that can change. By the way, third house is skills-based education. If you're driving to get like a license, I'll make something up, a real estate license, this could be a surprisingly positive turning point in that educational direction as well. Gemini, sun, moon, and rising. Oh, I need to change the sign. Wait, time stamping, girl. Gemini, sun, moon, and rising sign. Mars moving into your second house is a money and earnings house. Now, Mars will drive you to make more money, but he also likes to spend in the second house. So watch for expenditures that are over the top. Mars is emotional. So between March the 25th to May 20th, you may have emotional spending sprees. So be careful for that. Also, Gemini rising, sun, moon, and all of that. Be also very, very circumspect around what you eat, because Mars basically usually eliminates foods and things you put in your mouth when he comes to with your second house. Now he's very emotional. So a couple of thoughts. I mean, you could be emotionally eating, but you may be also too emotionally cutting something out. Like, I'm never going to ever eat pasta again. And then you realize you hate yourself. So be careful, because eliminating foods is off center, off skew. He's a self-starter, and your business enterprise, if you're an entrepreneur, self-starter energy can be up-leveled when he comes here every 2 years, but also be careful that you're tending to your self-needs, self-nurturance, because he may be out of balance, in his sign of his fall. He may work too hard, in other words. Well, there's a surprise element that's coming through the sky on April 30th, give or take a few days on either side, when there is a sextile from Mars to Uranus in your 12th house of foreign lands, foreign shores, backroom deals and negotiations, self-undoing addictions and bad habits, jails, incarcerations, and stuff like that. And so it may not be even about you, because it may be a friend gets out of jail and you're so excited and you've got some money to spend on them or something like that. But the surprise here could also just simply say, what kind of, like if you make revenue from PayPal and Stripe overseas, barter and trade, import, export, money from foreign countries, there's a positive surprise, like a positive uplift, a positive lightning bolt of goodness regarding potentially money that you can make from foreign lands, maybe a new opportunity coming through, or with Mercury and Uranus together, and you insight, download, or dream through a meditation or reverie, because the 12th house is kind of our hypnosis, our meditation, our theta waves, our subconscious, our unconscious mind zone. And you may have like an aha, a big aha, and you're going to take that aha, and it's going to be able to be prosperous for you. That's the gist of it. You will prosper from it. So pay attention to that possibility as you move towards that April 30th, like 4 or 5 days before and after. Let me know what happens. I'd love to hear what financial ahas could come from your dream life, even at night. So some kind of aha. Moving on to this is not a long video, guys. There's not a lot to say here as Mars moves through this part of the sky. Although during the month, I will do breakdowns of individual things, especially the trine to Neptune in the middle of May. You subscribe to my channel, hit my like button. If you're in the live premiere watching me, it's probably the first time I thought to say, can you guys hit my like button? It really helps the channel grow. I am growing last month, 3,500 subscribers in the last month or so. And that's exciting because my goal is to reach 100,000 by the end of 2020. It's ambitious, 23, but let's see if I can do it. Get my little YouTube plaque, 100,000 subscribers. All right, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign people. So in your sky, this is about you. Obviously, you are the Cancer Sun, you are the Cancer Moon, you are the Cancer Rising. If it's your Cancer Moon, it could be about your mom, your home, your safety, security needs, your emotional content. If you have a Cancer Sun, it could be about career, purpose, father figures. And if it's your Ascendant, it's all about you, which is why I say, listen for your Ascendant, Cancer. Sun, Moon, and Rising, Cancer Rising is about you. All right. So first of all, the thing I want to say is you have this in your house between March the 25th to May the 20th, called your first house of identity. This could be about you getting down with exercise, especially fluid exercise, like, water aerobics or swimming or things that involve flowing movement. You may also be more prone to accidents, especially involving water. I mean, I don't know how you have water accidents, but I mean, to your personhood, not to your house. So be careful for slipping on a puddle and hurting yourself. So be careful for injury anytime Mars is going through the first house. He's the god of accidents and injuries. So be cautious there as well. Don't let your water pick damage your gums or something. Oh my God, I cut myself with my water pick or something like that. So watch out for, that. But on the other hand, Mars brings direction, decisions, and momentum and drive and willpower to you. You have all of those things. Now you're a bit more emotional though, and you may be a little bit more volatile in your relationship to your husband or wife or whatever, the spouse across the way. You've got the sword in your hand and you're looking across at your Capricorn 7th house, and you may be gnarly with the one you're with. So be careful for that. Don't be passive aggressive, and try to air your differences, difficulties, and your disagreements with a kindness and empathy that you're known for, and without being passive aggressive or whatever. There's evidence that sometimes Mars in Cancer is like mommy dearest, which is a Joan Crawford movie, or maybe domestic abuse, because Cancer represents the home. Mars is a war in the home. That means like a domestic abuse vibe. So be careful that you're not in any way participating in any kind of things that would be mommy dearest like, or domestic abuse like stuff. All right. You're going to fiercely protect things, because you already do. You got your little crab claws out to protect the people close to you. You're loyal and defensive for yourself and others. So you'll be more that way during this transit. Now, I'm just talking about that lucky break, right? That's happening on the 30th or so of April, give or take a couple of days or 3 or 4 days on either side. Some surprise from the house of great gains. A reward, an award, an up level of your reputation, a greater financial gain coming surprisingly, a pennies from heaven moment, a chunk of money, lightning bolts of goodness, Mercury, Uranus, Sun, Vestal flame, Juno, it's busy up there. A sudden new business opportunity, a sudden new perseverant desire to focus on something in your career, which you see, aha, because, Mercury and Uranus are beside each other. A great gain, an idea. But on the other hand, you could have a real great gain coming to you because of this. But you've been taking action and making decisions so that that great financial gain can come to you April 30th. But it's all exciting and sudden. So it could be the 11th house is people who want to help you, friends and benefactors. Someone could come out of the woodwork and say, I really want to help you with this thing you're doing. I really want to support you. And that's going to allow for some greater success in your career. You do have Jupiter, for goodness sakes, moving through your 10th house to the middle of May. That is all about being high on top of the mountain in a career success phase of your life. Yeah, you. My sister Nancy, who does my timestamps, is a Reiki healer, healingwithnancylynn.com. And her business is taking off as Jupiter goes through her 10th house. And it's all word of mouth, except when I shout her out. And if you want to have a session with her, like literally, I couldn't even move my knee, guys, because I don't know what I did to it. I couldn't walk upstairs. So she did a healing. And then within 5 hours, I was able to climb stairs again. It's crazy. Like, she's really good. So check her out. Okay. I'll put a link to her site in my description box below. Healingwithnancylynn.com. Alrighty, moving forward to the next sign after Cancer, because this is called zodiacal order, is Leo. And Leo sun, Leo moon. And as I keep iterating, always, rising sign is probably most accurate. People always say, well, it's not accurate for me. And I'm like, well, maybe your birth time's wrong, or the Lord of your rising sign is in houses 12, 8, 6, or 2. And sometimes that means you may not understand or feel like you're rising, but for the most part, please try your rising. So Leo rising, Sun and Moon secondarily. Here's what we got. We got this energy of Mars from March the 25th to May the 20th, moving through your 12th house. This is where you could definitely get rid of your addictions, self-undoing, bad habits, patterns, the way you sabotage your life, your own, like falling away from your selfness, okay? So you may find that you are also able to pierce or cut through some kind of karmic sludge in your life, or parse and cut through some kind of ancestral line stories or curses and vows from other lives. There's almost like a soul work that can really happen here, especially as that trine to Neptune will heat up in May. So this is really good for spiritual soul work, karmic clearing, ancestral clearing, and things like that. Now, if you're not into the woo-woo, then this is really you maybe taking a trip to a foreign land, planning a trip to a foreign land, or going into new action directions around some kind of educational direction you wish to take. Whether it's long-term education or short-term, it doesn't matter. Mars can help you orient to a new direction for 9th and 3rd house educational matters. Mars is the Lord of your 4th house of home. He is trining it. Some positive developments that may occur in your 4th house of property, land, and real estate during his time in the sign of Cancer. So get ready for maybe some changes in your home. You might move, somebody might move out, you might change your furniture, you might renovate or decorate, or something flows to that part of your chart as well. Pay attention to your inner life here for sure. Watch out for hidden enemies though, and this would be likely men or male people, because Mars can represent people who don't have your back, who could sabotage you or lead to some hidden enemies basically. How do you watch for hidden enemies? But just know that, be circumspect around the men in your life, I guess, who may undermine you somehow during this transit. Also, you can find that this transit, especially a teacher, because this is a weird thing to say, but Mars will square Chiron. I'll be doing a separate video on that. And Chiron in your 9th house can represent guide, mentor, coach, or teacher. So watch for some conflict with that person, but also they may not be the person for you. So watch for that as well. I find that the Uranus thing is in your 10th house. I find that can be a very exciting new career opportunity coming to you with Uranus, Mercury, information, news, phone calls, something exciting, or through if your career is on the internet, do that too, because the sun is your purpose in the purpose house, your 10th house, during April 30th, right? Give or take a few days on either side, when Mars forms a flowing sextile to Uranus. So, there's an unexpected, exciting development in your career and in your purpose place and in your reputation place that's going to just light up really, really cool around the end of April. And it could also open up some kind of new partnership for your career or business, or some kind of new thing you wish to dedicate yourself to because of the Vestal flame and the partnership goddess Juno also being up there at the same time. Certainly it looks like a positive career aspect if you if you make money from people around the world. So today we don't just do import export, which is 12th house stuff. We do barter and trade by PayPal and Stripe. So if you make money using those payment processor systems, or you have, that kind of capacity in your business, then you could have a real flashpoint of success around April the 30th, give or take a few days on either side. And lastly, Mars does rule your house of foreign lands and foreign travel, and he is another foreign lands, far off shores house. So no doubt about it, some of you Leos are going off on a foreign adventure between March the 25th and May the 20th. Okay. Like some of you will choose that. I don't know if you're going to take the trip or plan the trip at that window of time, but I wouldn't be surprised if that isn't a part of your story. All right, Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign. This is interesting. When you are, hang on. I think I need water. I just had that feeling that my throat was about to collapse. When you're experiencing Mars every 2 years, this time March 25th to May 20th, moving through Cancer, you're experiencing Mars moving through your 11th house of good spirit, which is a very lucky house. And even if Mars is in debility, he's in a very lucky house. So this can open up a corridor, Virgo, of some financial luck from your career, a raise, a promotion, especially because Venus will be in your 10th house, which is often raises and promotions and good things in your work. At the same time, Mars is giving you some uplift in the house of great gains. So looking forward maybe to some kind of financial prosperity from your career as you are seeing that transit in a happy house, sextiling to your ascendant as well. Now, your larger social groups of friendships, including people who want to help you, benefactors and all of that, is here. So look for men particularly who might have your back, who want to benefit you. Look for male friends to look at you in a positive way, supporting you personally, sextile is your ascendant, and bringing greater financial gain to you from your career. This is also maybe a fight with a friend, and maybe a bit of a hissy fit, passive aggressive disagreement with somebody who you consider a friend. This is the house of friendship. You may pair away, cut away, and release some of your goals, dreams, and wishes that you thought you wanted, and now you're busy cutting away. But Mars is a bit emotional, so if you always thought, I want to be an astronaut when I grow up, and now Mars is like giving you a bad vibe on it, maybe not. Maybe take a pause, and before you ditch some of your long-range goals and dreams, maybe Mars is just having an emotional meltdown. Eldest sibling belongs to, or elder sibling belongs to the 11th, so quite possibly there's a disagreement with an older sibling or some conflict with an older sibling at this time, or something hard happening for your older sibling as Mars travels the house of the older sibling. You do have this lucky break energy, something exciting happening, unexpected, with Uranus on April 30th, give or take a day or two or 3 or 4 days on either side on April 30th. In your 9th house of foreign shores, foreign lands, academia, academic environments. My daughter's a Virgo rising. I expect her to tell me, oh my God, Mom, I got like a super great grade. And I'm just like so excited. But it could be more than that, because it's the sun, which is one's purpose and career, and Mercury, the news is fit to print, Uranus, the excitement in sudden events, and Juno, partnerships, and oh my God, the Vestal flame up there, what you want to devote yourself to, what you're going to persevere to with a sacred tending fire flame energy. Wow. So you guys could have some real breakthroughs in your spirituality if you've been looking for the meaning of life, or you may have a sudden like OMG moment to do with a foreign shore. My girlfriend Sylvia is a Virgo rising. She'll be traveling foreign lands at this time. And I expect then April 30th could open up some kind of, she'll be back by then. Okay, she won't be there then, but it's going to start influencing as early as the 25th of April. She'll still be in a foreign land then. But anyway, so some breakthrough stuff to do with foreign shores, foreign lands, courts and legal matters, book publishing. Any of you book publishing types out there looking for an agent, or things to do with your third marriage, or things to do with your spiritual beliefs and God and temples and religion. All of that's having a flashpoint of excitement, unexpected goodness, and some interesting news. Mercury's there around it all, coming through around the 30th of April. Just a reminder, Mars is the lord of your travel and trips house, as well as the third house of siblings. So you're getting a lot of sibling action going on, or a lot of travel action going on for you as this long Mars transit happens in this sign of Cancer. If you are traveling, you're a Virgo, just be careful careful, of course, because Mars being out of dignity, and he is the Lord of your third house of travel, especially shorter trips and travel. Just be more careful around, how you handle your steering wheel of your car, or tell the pilot to drive safely. Okay? I'm not going to worry you, though. Don't worry about it. Take a chill pill. Did I change the sign to Virgo? Thank God. I'm always forgetting, and then I'm talking and the backdrop's wrong, and then people tell me I've got it wrong and all of that. Hey, are you in the live premiere, and have you hit the like button? If you haven't hit it yet, would you do that for me? It so much helps the channel grow. It's crazy. And when I don't remind you guys to do that, then the numbers that I get at the end of the live premiere are really much different. And I screwed up on one of my videos recently and forgot to do that, and it really just didn't help my channel. It didn't help YouTube know to push the content out. So thanks very much for that. And if you're new to my channel, check my description box for everything I offer. Alrighty, and hit the like button and I'll subscribe. You know the deal. All right, let's go ahead and talk about Libra. I need water. All right, Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign. What we have going on is you got a movement through the sign of Cancer of Mars from March 25th to May 20th. This is a once every 2-year period in which you move through your reputation career house. If you're a stay-at-home parent or if you're a student, your reputation are those things. That's what you're visibly doing in the world, parenting or studying. So it's a reputation, career, ambition, success orientation for life. Hopefully you're striving to be a success if you're staying home with your kids. And so it's not like we don't always strive to be successful in the eyes of the world. That's the 10th house. In this part of your sky, Mars can eliminate things. And so some of you will quit your job. People in your job place, workplace, career space could get fired, or you may get fired. I'm not trying to worry you, but I've seen it happen, Libras. There just could be cutoffs. What do you call it when layoffs, severances and stuff like that? Or conflict with people that you work with and disagreements, and tension in the workspace. Now, when this happens every 2 years, it's always got a different configuration. I will point out that at least in the beginning of this transit, let's say March 25th, April 2nd, 3rd, there is a trine to Saturn. It does allow you to work your ass off really, really hard because that's Saturn in your work house. So you're working hard, you're driving forward, you're making progress, you're ambitious, your will and your determination are strong at that time. But watch still for overdoing it because the emotional component is skewed here and you may overdo it as well. And interestingly, Mars is also the Lord of your second house of earnings. And so there's a potential every time this transit happens each year, every 2 years, to up level your finances, right? Your earnings potential trines to the second house of job, earnings, income, revenue. This could be a time in which you're working hard, you're getting a lot done, and you're trying to, or you are able to generate more money because of that. If there's something you do that you're a champion of, an advocate, I'm an environmental advocate. I'm an advocate for this. And you could be very busy being advocate-like during this transit, like out there, on your pulpit, saying, we all need to march this way. Follow me. So if that's something that you do, that could happen, Libra, during this window of time. And also, you're going to find around the 30th of the month of April, there's going to be, all right, an activation of Uranus with your chart. That is the 8th whole sign house. That means it's about money. Often it's about money. Sometimes it's about the occult mysteries and secrets and all of that, but it's often it's a house of death, but it's also about money. It's money that you share with other people that you don't earn. It's unearned resources, like a paycheck that comes from, a book royalty or inheritance or money from a business partnership or investment money in the stock market. Something good might be happening that surprises you here, where there's a sudden flare pop, yay moment. And the money story from Mars in the 10th also reflects things that you are doing in your career. So a career and money up level energy going on, especially it could be buyout package, severance package, a chance to share stocks. What do you call it when a company says you can buy into a stock, or maybe a stock that you already bought into is taking off and it's allowing you to make positive changes in your career, like quit your job, and maybe you're getting an inheritance and you don't want to work anymore, so you're cutting out of work and it's all flowing. Whatever's going on here, in the chunky money house. It looks exciting. So this will happen for you with Mercury bringing the news to you, the information, and Sun saying it's something to do with purpose, and Vestal Flame and Juno partnerships. Some of this might involve business partnerships that are suddenly forming or taking off that are going to help you make changes in your career. And I feel like with Mars being in a square to your 7th house of marriage and commitment, and he's also the Lord of that house during this long transit of March 25th to May 20th, just be careful there that you don't have some falling out with the one you're with, your main squeeze partner, right? Because Chiron's there and Jupiter's trying to bless the relationship till middle of May. He's doing his best, but Chiron is what is wounded, and Mars is combative and overly emotional from the 10th. And so there could be some conflict over those weeks with somebody in your significant relationship, other sphere, or with your clients. You could have some disagreements as well. So watch for that. But, mostly with Jupiter moving through here until mid-May, there's an attempt by Jupiter to either bring a blessed ending if it's needed, but also to bonify and help your relationship thrive. Okay, we're moving forward. And I need to make sure that I change the backdrop. So give me a sec, guys. Scorpios. Scorpio, Mars is the ruler of your sign, like Aries. So when Mars does stuff, you need to watch, right? Like if you were like even a cursory knowledge of astrology, you should pay attention to Mars in Cancer, Mars in Scorpio, right? Mars is your guy, and also Mars in Pisces, because these are all flowing aspects to who you are. So it's called a trine, or, water trine energy. So Scorpio, this is the Lord of you, as I said, moving through your 9th house, which is beneficial. It's the same thing Vladimir Putin is happening. Mars is going through the Cancer 9th house and trining his 1st house of ascendancy and identity, according to the most rectified chart I could come up with. And this tells us that you're in a state of flow and ease and grace from the Lord of your sky. So for you, really, March 25th to May 20th may be quite good compared to some other signs, even with Mars in the watery sign of Cancer. You may have opportunities to travel abroad or to engage in higher education or to win a court battle, or you may actually have some opportunities here in the 9th house for a 3rd marriage to thrive or have some new momentum. And possibly you could also have some success in the areas of publications, especially book publications or academics. So all of that is exciting, right? Or a new spiritual like championship. Like, I'm down for this new spiritual path I'm going to walk, I'm going to be, totally down with my new Sufi path or whatever. So stuff like that is going on. Now, possibly father figures belong to this house in India, and Mars is cutting and ending. You could have a conflict or an ending of a relationship with a father figure. Venus is in the house of inheritance. I certainly do not wish upon you a passing of a father figure in your life, but you may indeed be looking at something like that, possibly March 25th to May the 20th. But you've got a lot of flow of Mars to you. Mars is also the Lord of your 6th house. That is the house of your work. And this could be a very positive time in your workspace. You may be up leveling, getting a raise or a promotion or more money or something good happening in the workspace. Even though it's a Mars in Cancer squaring your Aries work house, it's still your Lord, okay? And the square may look like someone quits the job space and you get their position. Like, it doesn't have to be all about you, but it's looking good on the work front, looking good for your story there as well. And Mars is the exaltation Lord of the house of siblings, younger especially, and trips and travel. So if you have any trips and travel you wish to do, Mars is looking across the way at the Capricorn zone. Maybe he would wish upon you some successful travel. I would avoid foreign land travel if you can. I know he's the Lord of your chart. I know he's in the house of foreign lands. But, he is in Cancer, and it could be that the trip turns out to be a dud. Like, it's all exciting and wonderful on paper, and you get there and what, the water problem, like the beaches are dried up, or there's flooding on the beach, or, the Airbnb floods out on you or something like that. It's just like, I wouldn't choose to travel to foreign shores on vacations, for instance. If I was you, March 25th to May 20th, just saying. But a local trip, because he exalts your 3rd house, like instead of going off to India, go take a trip to a city that's close to you or to a campground or something, that would be fine. Okay, so moving into the excitement of April the 30th, this is cool. This is going to be an unexpected development in the house of marriage and business partnerships. It could be, and legal contracts, but it could be all about your marriage partner, some exciting news and developments in that part of the sky, some like woohoo moments, you know, and she or he's having those if you're married or with someone long term, news, information about purpose or focus in their life. It's very exciting, something going on with the house of other people. Now, if you have clients or audience, marketplace, this is that part of the sky too. And there's this bolt of something good happening in the 7th house. Okay. So again, you might have an exciting new development with the one you're with, an opportunity to travel to a foreign land with the one you're with, some kind of exciting developments regarding churches. Maybe one of you proposes to the other person and you start to look for the church you're going to get married in, or the temple or the shrine or the synagogue, whatever it is. Okay. So those are the areas of excitement for you. But of course, it's Uranus. It's unexpected. I mean, it's hard to predict what it could be, but expect something unexpected in the 7th house of clients, audience, and business partners and long-term love partners around the 30th of the month, give or take a few days of April. All right. My girlfriend was visiting in the last couple of days and she had like a cold or a sore throat and a snotty nose, excuse me, for all the TMI. But I'm feeling it, guys. So I'm hoping I'm not coming down with it. I'm just going to hit the C really hard today. I'm recording on March 24th. Patreon gets us ahead of the time. And I think I'll probably get this out to you guys on YouTube land on the 27th or so, a little late for the beginning of the ingress, but it's been a busy month of my recordings. Okay, we're moving forward. And I totally forgot that I had a YouTube live. Oh my God, I pushed out my Venus and Taurus video like an hour and something ago, and I forgot that it was supposed to be a premiere and I was going to hang with people for 20 minutes. Oh my God. You know what? Oh, my production schedule is way too busy. All right, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications moving forward. Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising. All right, Sages, you fiery beasts of the centaur nature, and I hope my battery holds. Darn it, let me go plug in. I'll be right back. Sorry, guys, hang in there, Sag. I'm losing battery power. All right, I'm almost back. Give me a sec. All right, Sagittarius. Sagittarius. Ow! Sun, moon, and rising sign. Okay, let's move forward. It's a Cancer transit, right? So we're always talking about the house and whole sign houses, where this 5th of March to May the 20th Mars event is going on for you in your sky. Okay, so, well, basically you are experiencing this energy of the Cancer transit through your 8th house of chunky money, as I call it. It's like, you know, the money that you don't earn, basically. Royalty incomes, investment money, stock market money, inheritance money, shared resources with a spouse, alimony, palimony, insurance payouts, tax rebates, taxes, credit cards, mortgages, escrow, debts, leveraged money, borrowed money. Got it, right? Whew! A lot of money that you didn't earn on the daily kind of thing. Unearned income. Unearned resources, money that comes from the 7th. That's why it is. It's money that comes from other people, the 7th house, all right? It's second from the 7th. So basically, this is an area where Mars is traveling and it could help you sell some stocks, eliminate some financial challenges, do some bookkeeping with great momentum. But on the other hand, be careful because, you know, Mars is in detriment and you may take action or decisions based on this transit that may not be the best for your finances. You may cash out your pension plan. You may, oh, there's a beautiful rainbow outside as I'm telling you this. Oh my God, I'm going to take a picture of it. Oh my God, it's cold here as hell. And it's happened like sleet snow today in Vancouver, Canada. And I was out earlier and I was freezing taking a walk, but OMG rainbow. Took a picture and oh my God, it's getting more bright. So anyway, there's a rainbow at the end of your financial calamity maybe, but be cautious here. That's all I'm going to say, because, you know, I would be careful with how I make decisions and take actions regarding those types of money here with Mars in detriment in his fall. On the other hand, you may also make some very important decisions and take some very significant actions that impact how you are able to manage those kinds of monies. So just like lean into caution, that's all. Mars is the Lord in your chart of your fifth house of money luck, and he's also connected to your 12th house of money from foreign shores. Those kinds of monies may also be cautious around it. Just don't take risks with that. Mars is the Lord of your house of romance, which is the fifth house. He's in the house of things that are secretive and hidden. So this is not a time to launch a secret romance, cheat on your spouse, have an affair with someone who's married. You could do that with this transit. It can look like that. I don't advise it, of course. Mars can bring endings and severing, and this is a house of inheritance, but I normally have seen more like Saturn or Pluto or eclipses cause inheritance money to show up in this transit. Sometimes Jupiter for sure. So, but just be careful for disputes over inheritances, fighting over money, resources, arguing, and battling in passive aggressive ways over the inheritance monies with your other, people who receive it. State battles that are not necessary, basically. If you want to take a breather and try to work with the transit instead of fall into the spell of it. There's an exciting and positive event April 30th, add a few days on either side. I like it a lot. It's going to open up a corridor of something good and exciting from your work and job house, health house, pets, tenancies. Of course, you could be looking at any of those things surprisingly, excitingly happening April 30th, give or take a few days, a new opportunity for a rental, a new opportunity for a pet, but all connected to the money story of the eighth house. So you can't believe it, but you got the pet at half price because the breeder is going out of business. You can't believe it, but you got that rental at such a discount. And now all you have to do is, pay off a chunk of money from your chunky money house to some, landlord or something. So, you could pay off some debt here because in both 8 and 6 can be debt houses. And there's a sudden exciting Mercury, Uranus, Sun, thing to maybe eliminate a debt. So you may have a chunky money debt elimination around April 30th, give or take a few days. Keep me posted. I'd love to know how that plays out for you. We have to whip through, guys. I'm meeting someone for lunch. I am meeting for lunch Milena, my Capricorn ex-husband's wife. All right. Capricorn Sun, and we're going to a restaurant called Aphrodite's, and it's Venus Day, and Venus is being occulted by the moon today in Taiwan and South Africa, India, Indonesia, yeah. But anyway, so here we go. Capricorn Sun Moon, my ex-husband Cap, his wife, lunch. Capricorn Sun Moon and Rising. Are you watching in the live premiere and you haven't hit my like button? Well, naughty, please do so. Thank you. I appreciate it. Capricorns, this is first of all, Mars exalts your house, right? Mars is the exaltation lord for Capricorn people. So you have a special relationship that when he comes to your home, you give him the VIP treatment. So you have a thing with Mars, right? You're a Saturn ruled being with a thing for Mars. So here is Mars moving through your 7th house of marriage partners, business partners, audience, legal contracts, and things like that. And opponents that are visible. Mars here could be a visible opponent. Whose opponent? Adversarial energies coming at you. Well, it's a long transit, so hopefully not too bad. March 25th to May the 20th, you may be contending with an adversary. Now, sometimes our business partners and our main squeezes can become adversarial towards us. And if that's going to happen, this is when it is. Now, they may not be mean to you. They may be opposing something that you want to say or do or be, and they're doing it maybe in a bit of a passive aggressive way, or they're out of control and they're emotionally volatile because Mars here is swinging a I had a vivid image of, those water noodles that you have in swimming pools that you can float on. I'm having an image of your partner either spraying a water gun at you for like a kid or like splashing you with a water noodle in the pool passive aggressively. Okay. So be careful for that. You're going to have to see if you can discharge this energy and invite that into conversation if conflict arises rather than weird cold shouldering, passive aggressive water noodle displays here. Okay. Now, this is a transit though, reminding you that Mars is also, besides exalting you, I mean, he is the planetary lord of your Scorpio 11th, and he's flowing there, and that's great gains from your career, reputation upgrades, maybe some windfalls or pennies from heaven. I mean, he's flowing to that house. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but he's giving you a lot of love in that sociable friend's house while he moves through your seventh. So it's an upside, and he's also, unfortunately, squaring your fourth house of homeland and real estate. So that could cause some technical challenges regarding opportunities to do with buying and selling and moving and home stuff. All right. Especially if it's from your business partner, or it could be, you're trying to negotiate the sale of a property and there's a lot of tension going on. You do have Venus moving through your pets and tenancies house during this time. So you could find that's a better direction to go. Don't try to sell or buy, try to rent. Now, the April 30th timeframe is a positive surprise from the house of money, luck, speculation, the fifth house, the romance, your children, fertility, pregnancy, unexpected, Uranus, Mercury, Sun, Juno, festal flame pile up in your fifth house, and independent business enterprise. With Mars in a sextile from the seventh, your partner's pregnant. Woo! You just found out. Your partner's got a lovely opportunity, and it's going to benefit you both. Or you have won the lottery, or your partner did, and you're jumping for joy. Or your child has had some unexpected exciting news that are just like amazed by, and it's bringing you new excitement in your marriage. I mean, seventh house, fifth house, it's going to be about those overlapping areas of influence. If you have your own business, this could be some breakthrough with a client, some breakthrough with your audience, some breakthrough with your marketplace as well. All said and done, it's a bright spot in the sky, April 30th, give or take a few days on either side. Okay, so I'm looking forward to hearing what happens. You guys, if you do write me back, I do listen, read all my comments, and I'd love to know how it worked out for you. Is that rainbow gone? A couple signs back, we had a rainbow outside my window. I tried to snap a picture of it. All right, I don't want to be late for lunch with my ex-husband's wife, so give me a minute, but I'm going to Aquarius next. Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. What's going on in the sky is that you've got this energy of the planet Mars on the 25th of March to May the 20th in Cancer. This is the sixth house of work routines, health protocols, the house of sickness. Mars is good here for eliminating addictions, bad habits, and self-undoing, getting you exercise programs, especially revolving around water, that you can get better health. Also for eliminating pets. Hopefully you don't need to eliminate a pet or taking action around a pet. Mars can cause injuries to your pets here, so be careful with your pets. I'm dog sitting my girlfriend's dog during this transit. I have to be very cautious with this pet. Obviously, Mars is moving through my house of pets. The sixth house can be about debts. Mars is the god of elimination. You may pay off a debt, which would be really, really cool. And Mars in the sixth house can mean you're working your ass off. It's a work house, guys. Mars is driving, ambition, willpower, energy, and you might be working hard. Watch that you don't overdo it. He's out of balance. He's emotional in Scorpio. He may not give you enough downtime, and you may be burning out. With Mars as the lord of your third house of trips, travel, siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, and the online world, you may be busy with all of those things. Those things may be really up, but there's a square from Mars in Cancer, so you may have some challenges with those people, siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, and nephews, but also, and childhood friends, but also with how much energy you're putting into your online world. It may be overwhelming. I hope not for too much. Jupiter, for all us Aquarius risings going through our third house, has blessed us with all good things, third house, including for me, some really great up levels in my online presence during this transit since December 20th. But watch for some burnout. I would say Mars in the sixth house for most people is a burnout transit through working too hard. He also is the lord of your 10th house of career, and he's flowing there. So your career and reputation are on the upswing for sure, March 25th to May the 20th. So yes, because you're working so hard, especially if your floating midheaven is in the sign of Scorpio. But all Aquarians will feel an up level. There's exciting developments. Yay! April the 30th, 2023, give or take a few days on either side, to do with property, home, land, and real estate, and your domestic life and where you live. What's going on in your home? You got Venus going through your house of children at the same time in romance, and that's all off to the races. But there's that Mercury Uranus in Venus's house. Whoa. Some exciting developments going on to do with purpose and career, news and information, contracts and agreements. Juno's there in the home story. Now I can make something up for me. For example, I'm maybe going to approach my landlord and see if she'll let me extend this lease past mid-July. And if she says yes, that would be exciting and somewhat unexpected. So for example, I could find that out sometime around April 30th, give or take a few days, that she might make a decision, or I might have the insight, the courage to ask, you know? Well, you know, I'm going to say, I mean, Venus rules lucky things that happen, and this is her joy in the fifth house. For some of you, there could be some winning money stories going on, and the excitement that it impacts your home life in some way, because you can now pay off all your debts. Mars in the sixth house, and you could get some kind of new property. And Venus says, because it's her house, right? Uranus and Mercury, the god of commerce and news and information and sudden events and games of chance. So just on the outside chance that I will win the lottery and be able to buy a new house and pay off all my debts, I'll let you guys know. So if you are Aquarius rising, any of us could go into that possibility. Of course, a lot depends on the nature of your natal Venus. Mine's a dignified Venus in Taurus. So you'll have to look at your natal Venus to know if she can deliver such astounding results or not. If you live with other people, this exciting sudden development could be their news and excitement, but it's benefiting everybody because it flows to Mars in your sixth house. All right. Let's keep going. We only have one more sign. Pisces, first and always first. If you're my live premiere, you have not hit my like button. It is time. It is time to do your duty and help my channel grow. Thank you so much. I got to take that doggy for a stroll before lunch. I'm running out of time. I'm not going to rush Pisces. I had somebody comment that I rushed through Pisces on one of my long videos, like my Pluto video. The first one, Pluto all signs 23, dealio. And then I got back and I checked, and nope, Pisces even got longer than most other signs. And I have to laugh. I looked at the time counts on all signs, and I'm like, what is it with Pisces that you guys think you're always getting short shrift? I know you are last in the zodiacal order, but I tried my best not to give you short shrift. All right. So, you know, and then I tell the person, go back and look at the timestamps. Of course, they never get back to me. You know, I don't know why I bothered to correct the record. The rainbow's still there. Pisces, sun, moon, and rising sign. All right. In your narrative, this is a flow. This is water flow. You're a water sign. All right. Cancer is your fifth house. Mars is looking over his shoulder at your ascendant, flowing towards you. So this is very positive, as it is for Scorpios and Cancers, more or less. It's in your sign, or it's flowing toward you. This is good for your children. This is good for romance. This is good for sexuality. This is good for your sense of enthusiasm and joy and inspiration for life. You might be having a lot of fun. You might be working out a bit. There's a Mars can make you more athletic here. You might find yourself, you know, finding new directions for finding joy, new momentum, new hobbies and skills as you get more excited about fifth house things. If you have your own business, you're driving forward with new ideas, new directions, and new momentum. March 25th to May 20th in your independent business enterprise. But some of this could be my kid leaves the home. My kid denests. Mars is like ending, severing, kid leaves the home. You could have a fight with your children, so be careful. You could have disagreements with your lover. Be careful. If there's going to be disagreements in a love relationship, it's going to be because Mars is, well, emotional, and he may be withholding, defensive, or passive aggressive. So you have to be attentive to that. All right. I do like the beginning of the transit until about March 25th to April the 2nd, because you got a trine to Saturn in your house, and you are digging in, being disciplined, focused, determined, and getting a lot of stuff done that you need to do that may have to do with your fifth house, your children, your independent business, your romance, but it's also leisure travel. Some of you may take a trip that's for pleasure or leisure during this time. You may be planning the trip and then taking the trip during this transit. Mars is about sexual energy, and the fifth house is sexual energy. So there is sexual energy, but it's very Cancerian. So maybe it's more about touch, you know? There's a book out there called Cupid's Poison Arrow. And they talk about using karezza, which is to touch and nurture and snuggle and cuddle, and to forego just the aim for the orgasm because it leads to the poison arrow, which is remoteness and distance post-coital orgasmic encounters. Hope this isn't TMI. This is not a video for children. But I'm just thinking about the Cancer energy with Mars here. He's like asking for a different approach, maybe more emotional intimacy than necessarily sexual. I'm just guessing for you guys, could be on the plate. This is something you encounter every 2 years. You're coded in your life to go through 6 weeks every 2 years in which what I'm talking about is up for you, right? So you could also say that your sexual code is for more emotional intimacy or affection than, because Mars is always going to say the same thing to you every couple of years. You're going to have a wonderful time, a little opportunity of luck and opportunity to do with trips and travel, third house things. Around April 30th, give or take a few days, a sudden opportunity to travel, a sudden opportunity to do something in the local neighborhood that's going to be exciting, a sudden news or information from a sibling that's exciting, unpredictable though, because Uranus is involved. April 30th, give or take a few days on either side. If there is a trip that comes up and it's unexpected, it may connect, okay, to things that have to do with foreign lands and foreign shores, far off lands, because Mars is the lord of your house of far off lands. It may also be that this energy is about the second house and it's an earnings opportunity. Even though Mars is squaring the earnings house, there is something exciting happening from the third. And so, some of you Pisces may have some money opportunity coming to you. Jupiter's trying his best to lay golden money eggs in your second house till the middle of May. It could be a financial opportunity coming through an email, a phone call, or opportunity to travel, or sudden travel leads to a financial opportunity. Very active energies could be ongoing from foreign lands, far off shores, and income earnings and revenue stories. And lastly, the third house is skills-based learning, and you may have some exciting developments where you're accepted into a course and you're so jazzed and you're like, hey, I got into this class, this course, or a sudden opportunity to learn is presented to you. And you're like, yeah, I want to take that class and I'm excited and jazzed up about it. And finally, siblings can have unexpected news and excitement in their lives, and you're hearing about it, and it's all very flowy and positive, and it hits you in a good way. Both sextiles your ascendant, by the way, and this Mars transit through the 5th. Okay, so anything else I'd say to you? Try not to fight with your kids. Try not to disagree with your significant romantic partner in ways that you are expressing either intense volatility emotionally or inability to have strong boundaries. Like you might have to tell one of your children, no, I need you to blank, blank, blank for my own boundary space. Or same with a romantic partner, don't transgress on my boundaries or something like that. Because Mars is about drawing boundary lines. And well, you may have troubles with that when he's out of dignity, Thanks, guys, for listening. That's the end. Thank you. Please hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. I will see you in my next video, which will be, I don't even know what I'm doing next. Maybe the Jupiter Cazimi and Jupiter Invisible video that's going to cover the events of the end of March into the first couple of weeks of April. I got to roll. Ciao, ciao. I have to find my off button. Give me a sec.